Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and back to another revisit movie review. And because I revisited the 20th anniversary of the 1996 live-action adaptation of the 101 Dalmatians, because I was reviewing it because the 20th anniversary for the year of 1996. So I figured why not revisit the sequel, 102 Dalmatians. And you can check out my original movie review. It's still on there. Long ago, I actually reviewed it. So yeah, 102 Dalmatians stars the return of Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil. It was released on the Thanksgiving of the year 2000. Despite negative reviews, it was a financial success. Worldwide of 883 million, even on its hefty budget of 85 million. It got much lower reviews than the first film, like has a 4.9 IMDb and a 31% Rotten Tomatoes, which to me, I enjoy the sequel. I would give it much higher ratings. But Glenn Close and Tim McInerney, who plays her Alonzo, Cruella's like assistant, are the only two members from the first one to come back. So you don't see Jeff Daniels or the other cast members coming back, or Horace and Jasper or whatever. And it stars Alice Evans as Chloe, and Ewan Grufford, who later going to play Mr. Fantastic in the 2005 film Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, and the sequel as well. And he also later appeared in San Andreas. Also, Gerard Depardieu as LaPelt. Eric Idle as the voice of Waddlesworth, the parrot, which he thinks he's a dog. And actually, really enough that after this film was made, like a few years later, Alice Evans and Anne Goffred actually did get married. Actually, really enough, a few years after this film. But I enjoyed the sequel. It's another film that I grew up watching, and I always think I always thought it was a good sequel. And it's directed by Kevin Lima, which he directed films like the first the Goofy movie, the anime movie with Goofy. He would would later was one of the co-directors of Tarzan, the 1999 anime movie Tarzan. He was one of the co-directors along with Chris Buck. And then after this, he would go on to direct the 2007 another Disney 2007 film, Enchanted, which I've not seen yet still. So he's been associated with Disney a lot. So he go on direct a Goofy movie, then one of the directors of Tarzan in this film, and then Enchanted, which I love Tarzan, and a Goofy movie I liked, but I haven't seen that movie in forever, so I have to give the film another look one day. But I enjoy 102 Dalmatians, and through this in the story, Cruella de Vil is in this I would say a few years after the first film. She's in this she's in jail, but she's like being like there's like this experiment where she's been cured of her obsessive of like furs and spots, whatever. And she's now set free. Is now on probation, and Alice Evans is her probation officer. When she gets out, Alonzo has a gift for her, which is another dog named Fluffy. When she gets to her house, she wants to get her because furs all over her, so she tells Alonzo to get rid of them, including this drawing, which was from the first movie, the drawing of the Dalmatian puppy coat. And Chloe, Alice Evans, she has also a Dalmatian of two Dalmatians of her own. A female named Dottie, and the one, and actually is one of the puppies from the first movie. Is now an adult named Dipstick. Dipstick was one of the puppies from the first movie. That was one of the 15 Dalmatians of Pongo and Purdy. So Dipstick was one of the puppies, and these are now an adult. And uh, Dottie gives a birth to three puppies. One's gonna be called Little Dipper. One is Domino, and the other name is Oddball. And Ian our own Gottfried is plays Kevin, and he runs like this animal shelter for lost pets. And he has a couple of his own. One is like a bulldog named Drool or whatever, because he drools a lot. Digger, one's like a collie that likes to dig, and of course and a couple others, and of course Wattlesworth, the parrot who thinks he's a dog, a Rottweiler. And their business is failing. So, but when Cruella de Vil comes in, she'll help change up the place, so it makes the place a success. And she's thinking that she has now changed her ways. Chloe doesn't believe in that. She's still, because she realizes that she's her probation officer, and Dipstick remembers Cruella de Vil for what she did from the first film. And she doesn't, and Chloe doesn't believe that she won't change. She'll return back to her original ways, and everything seems fine until the experiments, like on these other animals of this institute where Cruella was at, they've gone back to their own separate different ways because they heard the ring of Big Ben. So, and the puppies, Chloe's puppies are a little more older. Oddball is the only one who has no stripes. No spots. So, a spotless Dalmatian. Which, I'm sure I was surprised this long ago in my review that there was no such thing as a spotless Dalmatian. Probably said that though, but I thought that if it was effects, it probably did a good job making Oddball a spotless Dalmatian, like erasing all the spots, whatever. So if that was effects, that was it was pretty good effects to make it for a good spotless Dalmatian. And also, speaking of don't forget to mention the opening of the opening credits for the movie, which is a song that I grew up liking. The song, what was it? It was a dig a dog, dig a dog, dig a dog, dig a dog. That song. I thought I grew up with that, so I thought it was a good song as well. And because Oddball is obsessed with spots, and there's a point where there were spots, and he looks at her own reflection. It looks like she has no spots, that she wants spots. And she sees like a guy working on a printer, and he has like a piece of paper with ink splotches on it, so he rolls over, trying to give herself spots. But she gets up on the roof, and the puppies are out there. And Cruella de Vil hears Big Ben, because Chloe has a window open to get her puppies back in, and she reverts back to her old evil ways. And she starts seeing spots everywhere, and says, "Cruella's back." So, and then she needs she goes and sees Lapelt, played by Gerard Depardieu, who's another furrier, and says he wants to work together to make this one coat that will reshape the fur business, whatever. And says that she wants to have making a spotted hooded puppy coat because saved for Chloe's puppies. And while this is going on, they go to Chloe meets with Kevin, and they go to this puppet show, and Oddball sees a puppet wearing spots. She like takes like the fur coat or the puppet, and she gets like caught in balloons, and Kevin has to bring it down. And it shows that they're gonna go on a date, and while all the animals stay there at the Chloe's place watching Lady and the Tramp, which is how I thought was kind of funny because Lady and the Tramp is another Disney classic as well. And of course they're playing Kevin and Chloe. They're doing like the offshoots of Lady and the Tramp, like doing like the famous dinner scene. And while it's going on, Alonzo has been stealing the puppies because he's been, he doesn't like being like taking the abuse though, but he does it anyway to please or whatever because he's like because he's talking, they're talking with Lapel. She's talking with Lapel. He's like, oh, I got the perfect idiot to take the fall for this, and it's like, no, not you, Alonzo, another idiot. We're just referring to Kevin, so they make him like frame Kevin thinking he stole puppies by putting a sack of Dalmatians in there. I'm thinking that he did, so he gets sent to prison. And then Corilla invites Chloe to her place for this dinner with all these other rich people with dogs, so that as a way of distraction, so that Lapelt can go in her place and steal the 3 puppies. And one thing leads to another. So that Oddball starts redoing like from the first movie, calling all the dogs in London for help, whatever, to get the message out for all the dogs to get taken. As they're at the train station, Cruella de Vil is like, the rat. So Alonzo tells Alonzo to find the rat, kill it. He's like, the last time I underestimated a puppy, I wound up in the pokey. So Alonzo sees, like, because he's in the station looking for Oddball. As he goes and jumps and leaps forward, those things where they carry the luggage or whatever, those cars that carry the luggage, they run over his hands. And as they get on the train set to Paris to Lapel's shop because it's there in Paris. Chloe and Kevin, they find this train ticket. They are at the station. They see Oddball running at the train, but he falls on the tracks. And Waddlesworth all of a sudden goes and starts flying. He's like, they're saying, Waddlesworth, flap your wings. And Waddlesworth's like, I can fly. Dogs can fly. And it's like, I wasn't a Rottweiler after all. I'm a retriever. So both the bird and Oddball, they hide in Corilla's car as Corilla drives recklessly through the streets of Paris, and is like, it's this traffic. The French are useless behind the wheel, and she's driving on the wrong road. As Lapel says, like, you're going the wrong way. No, they're going the wrong way. So they get to Lapel's workshop, where all the puppies are stored down below. And the point where Alonzo is putting the puppies in there, and he does feel sorry for them. He even says, I'm sorry, because he feels bad for them. Because Alonzo, he's not a bad guy. He's just following orders, and even though he does not like what's going on, though. Like a walls where he there's this hole in the floor, and he like makes it bigger so Kevin and Chloe they get trapped down there too, so they can just hoist all the Dalmatians up above. As they make their escape, Corella sees them because the Alonzo didn't kill Oddball, so he's like, I'll kill him myself. And while that Lapel then gets into a fight with Alonzo, and Alonzo gets the upper hand. He wraps himself in it, wraps him into a fur coat, and sews the sleeves, so he can't fight like this. And he's like, now, Lapoli, now I crush you, little man, because he's been calling him a little man for the whole movie. And as he falls through that one hole, and Alonzo laughs like, Who's little man now? Um, and then I get to me. You get to me is the best. You get to the best part of the movie to me. At least to me, it was when they get into the bakery, the whole like the factory of the bakery. To me, it's like the best part of the movie where Cruella de Vil is getting all like she was in the first one, but more elaborate. She gets falls into the contraptions of how the bakery is. Like she gets like eggs poured out on her, falls into this batter, and gets flour dumped on her and stirred up. Is covered in batter. Oddball. Oddball gets stuck in the batter, so and these blades come down, and Quill thinks he can kill Oddball by throwing him there. He's like, without spots, you're just not worth the trouble. Chop chop. And I think he's like, ha 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 ha. And now to my coat. And then surprise on her, and she gets dumped into this container, gets popped up into the oven. And as Kevin and Chloe they enter there, and Cruella is finished in the oven. She pops up like her hands and whatever, and her hair pops up, and she's walking in this cake. And it's funny when all the dog they start decorating her with frosting and sprinkles, and the dog drools on her. And Wallow's like, and now for the topper. You mean now kick the bride. And she gets pushed on this cart and is flying to the bakery store and flying right into the display window. And Cruella once again gets arrested, and the public, I'm ruined. This is the fall of muscle pelt. How do we get out of this mess? And of course you get the pun, which she says, piece of cake. Yeah, that's a pun I could tolerate because I'm having fun with the movie. So. A typical pun I can deal with. And then a little time later, Alonzo comes to the shelter in Cruella's car, and he delivers a check to the shelter, which was the remaining of Cruella's money. Because they warned if she does like her acts again, she will lose all her money, which she did. Now she loses her money. Now it's be given to the animal shelter, which is like about £8 million. And Oddball's on top of the label, and she jumps down, and she's finally got her spots. It's like Oddball's got her spots, and ends with not Alonzo. Walter saying, SPOTS. And it ends with the song once again, dig it, dig it, dog, dig it, dig it, dog. I enjoy 102 Dalmatians. I always have. Another childhood classic to me. Glenn Close once again is Cruella de Vil. Once again, top-notch job as Cruella de Vil. She'll always be the best Cruella de Vil to play in a live-action movie. Like I said before, Emma Stone be cast as Cruella. I mean, you get a younger actor while you get someone like Glenn Close. She's still the perfect one, and I don't think maybe Emma Stone won't do a bad job until eventually when the movie comes out though. But I always still think that I grew up with these two movies, and Glenn Close has always been the perfect choice as Cruella de Vil. So, and as for the rest of the cast, Owen Guffred, Alice Evans, George Bardur, Tim McInerney, I thought they all worked fine as well. The hijinks, the best part of the movie when Cruella was in the bakery. She's getting basically her ass handed to her by the puppies, being baked in this, becoming like a cake and stuff like that. And I thought it was like something like that. You get that feel you don't see nowadays. That type of hijinks ensues. But the song choices like Digga Digga Dog, which I like, and the rest of the score by David Newman, I thought it was still there as well. Of course, they didn't. Didn't make that much money like the first film because it came out at a time when M Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable was out, and of course the hit film of Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas was around. So the film, even though the film it was facing a little bit of competition, the film was still managed to make some money. So I'm fine with that. But the negative reviews and the ratings, I would give them much higher ratings. But other than that, though, I think it's still a fun sequel, which I enjoyed growing up with, and you know the puppy, especially Oddball, cute. I thought if they used the effects like to make a Dalmatian spotless, I thought it was well done. But still had fun with the sequel. So that's my my revisit on 102 Dalmatians. 16 years basically. It's been that long as the same for 20 years after the first 101 Dalmatians came out. Just feels so old just because we're watching, because it seems like I was growing up watching these around the time they came out, and years later, it's just been how many years since they came out, you know. But yeah, these films will always remain the childhood favorites of mine. But Glenn Close, I always say that she's the perfect as Cruella villain for the live action versions. Glenn Close will always be the perfect choice. I thought she would always play the character perfectly. Some people could disagree, that's fine, but to me, I have to say she was perfect. And Emma Stone, if the film eventually comes out, I will still say that Glenn Close will still be better. I just probably doesn't think that Emma Stone will capture that energetic or energy, whatever that Glenn Close had, you know, with the laugh and the evil laugh and how she played the character. But I'll have to wait and see when that one comes out, though. But still, always had fun with the movie, as did the first film. So that's my little revisit on 102 Dalmatians. You can still check out my original review of both of these movies. It's still on here, so you can check that out if you want to. But always have fun watching these childhood favorites of mine. So that's 102 Dalmatians revisited. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.